Hey guys, it's Nadia from the Playroom. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's takeout container series is going to be crumpled paper art. Before me, you have all of the beautiful materials that we're going to be using for today and that are actually in all of the kits that we're going to be handing out to you guys. We're going to start off with our construction paper. It's white construction paper, so the watercolors that we're going to be using on our construction paper can be nice and vibrant. We're going to use our brush. We have 6 cups, so we're gonna do Roy G. Biv. We're gonna dip basically our paintbrush into colors. Using our water bottle, we're gonna get the paint off to go back and forth and use different colors. And we're gonna use a paper towel to dab it. Are you guys ready to get started? Because I know I am. You'll also see on the table a baby picture of me, not because I'm vain, but because I like to show what you can actually do with the actual project once it's done. I've done so many different things with this. And doing books for people that have come to visit the Playroom as a backdrop to pictures. So imagine, you finish doing the crumpled paper art and you're like, I want to do more with it than just, put it up on a wall or a fridge. You want to add something to it. You can add something that's personal for you or for someone that you love. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my construction paper. And I think you guys are going to like this because for those of us that are actually going through this pandemic with lots of stress, you want to do something like this. Crumple your paper up. Doesn't matter how you do it. If you want to do it more than 3 times before you actually start the project, you do what's good for you, okay? Crumple your paper up, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open all of my containers of my Roy G. Biv, get them on the table. And I like these bottles because they're basically squirt. You basically are gonna just put as much paint as you want in your container. You could keep an order if you would like. To me, it doesn't really matter because as long as I know I have options, that's all that matters to me. So I separated my blue from my purple so I could actually tell the difference. And you can use these water bottles, these squirt bottles for something else if you want. They're watercolor. They do well on a lot of projects. And if you guys do keep them, down the line, we'll have future projects that if you want to use these bottles for, you can. So this is going to take a little bit of time to do, but I just wanted to show you everything from the beginning so you guys are not lost in what we're doing together, okay? So I crumpled my paper up. I have 2 more colors to go. But I love the way that all of it's looking consistent. It's just awesome. Squirt bottles are the best. So you're gonna put all your paint out. I crumpled my paper so you guys know the steps. I'm giving every one of you guys also water. I know we're like so fancy with it, but honestly, these are kits to go. So you guys can do this when if you go visit someone, if you're coming from the hospital and you're bored, you want to do something fun, you can do it. So we're going to move the things that we don't need on the side. We crumpled our paper up, and what you're doing is basically this. You're taking your paintbrush, you're picking any color that you want, and you're basically going in on your construction paper and basically what you would call a dab of paint in areas that you want the paint to be. I'm going to actually show you guys what it looks like. Like I told you, using watercolor is the best instead of actual paint because it comes out really, really well in the construction paper. And again, this is white construction paper we're using. And then I'm going to basically dab it into here. The water is blue, and I'm going to dab it on my paper towel to get that excess blue off. Now, what you're doing next is you're basically opening up your paper. And now you guys are like, what in God's name is this? You're basically opening up your paper to see what your crumpled paper art, because this is what we're doing today, looks like. Okay? You see that I have it on the edges of my paper on the top, and I have it a lot on the bottom. What you're doing next, crumpling that paper again. This step is going to be so repetitive for you guys that it's going to be fun. So I'm gonna go back into my paint different watercolor, and I'm going to dab it into my paper just as I did the blue. And when you guys are doing this, you can be as rough or as gentle as you guys want to be with it. I honestly just want to get as much watercolor in there as you want. Something that I've learned from this awesome project is that you can literally pick the colors that you want on your paper. You don't necessarily have to do a whole full Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv, for those of you that are just joining me, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So I do that with all the projects that I work in because I really think it's important to have those options available. But if you don't want them, you don't take them. So before I put my purple on, I'm going to open up my paper again. And the reason that you're opening up your paper back and forth is because you want to get the color in different places. You could do a demo of something that if you don't want to open it up and you leave it closed, how that would end up. But for me, I really like to see the colors move on my sheet and to see how I want to crumple it. You can crumple it a different way every time. If you wanted to fold this up before crumpling it, you can do that as well. So I have my purple here, and I'm adding it to my crumpled paper art. I'm gonna go back and do a little bit more. For those of us that love purple, I'm gonna be putting a lot in there for you because I already know that you guys love it so much, and that's totally okay that you do. And the construction paper, what I really love about the watercolor is that it drinks it right up. Like this is a project that it's not wrong. I'm gonna squirt a little bit of the new water in here. I know it's gonna be still purple, but it'll still be water and it'll help. Remember, your paper towel is gonna drink any of that watercolor up anyway, and it's gonna become clear on your brush. Before we move on to our next color, let's open this up to see what it looks like. This is what we're dealing with right now. And it's really great that it looks this way. This project is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something that, you know, if you're mad at the world on this day, this is the perfect project for you. Because literally you're crumpling things up and adding color to it. It kind of reminds me of what you would call your version of tie-dye without the actual shirt. So I'm crumpling up my art again, crumpling it as much as I can. And I love construction paper because it works so well. And I'm going to another color. And I'm adding green to it right now. And it's okay that I can get to all the Roy G. Biv colors I want. If you have a lot of white on there, it's up to you what you want it to look like. If you just wanted to add the one color to the whole construction sheet, you could. And then you could be like, you know, this is my version of tie-dye, or this is my version of what I want my crumpled paper art to look like. And if you're giving this to someone, you might want to explain, you know, what you did to make this look this way, because they might be really intrigued to know this is what I did in order to get this look of it. So I'm going to open it up again, and I'm really loving the colors I've used so far. I have my green, my oranges, my blue. The green, it's just awesome. I have a lot of color on the sides, I'm noticing, but in the middle. So I might want to crumple it this way. And I'm like, it kind of looks like a light bulb, if you will. And I crumple it this way in order to get the color in little nooks and crannies that I really want to get. Remember, I'm going to be adding water, and I'm going to be adding a Bounty paper towel because I believe in Bounty. It's like my business of towels for you guys to get your color out of there. But as you can see, my towel, I have lots of the watercolor on it, and it's awesome for me. So I'm going to go to this color right now, which I believe is my red. Getting that color in there. And I'm going to basically dab it onto my sheet. And I love the way that I'm holding it because it's basically going to address the area that I want it to address in here. If you guys are at home and you choose to do this too, you can do it with bigger paper. If you want to do this on construction paper that already is a color like a yellow or orange, I would say try to do it on the brightest colors that you can, because it comes out looking better. You can try it on dark colors, but I would really like if you guys did it on colors that you really can see the watercolor, and it really makes a difference. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to open this up for you guys to see, how much of a bloody red that I've done. Now, I see that I have a little hole in my paper. Honestly, that really doesn't really bother me. It just tells me, one, I'm having fun. Two, not all things happen the way that you want them to happen when you're doing art. That's what makes you a great artist, okay? The only person that should be judging yourself is you. So if anyone tells you anything, be like, that's part of my process. So I have a lot of my red in here now. I noticed that on here I have a lot of white. So I'm going to crumple it up in this direction to add my final cup color onto here. And I've noticed that I did not even dab. I kind of mixed the color, which if you want to do that too, you can. I made it like a little red orange because I didn't dab into my water, which again, that's your business. If that's what you want to do and that's how it comes out, it works. So it's my last color. It was yellow. I did a little red into it, so it kind of looks like a red orange. And I still love the idea that it's something fun that I've done. And something that you want to make sure that you do is after you open this up and it's where you want it to be, you can spend hours doing this if you want the whole thing to be covered. I've done that before. It looks spectacular. But if you want to have a little bit of white negative space, you can. And that's totally okay. And so it's my final color. I'm living it up. I'm going and I'm rolling it over to make sure. If you want to go back and dab other colors in here, you can, but I'm just going to do what I've done. So I'm going to open this up, say that this is my final look that I want it to look. After all is said and done, I'm going to have this dry either on a drying rack or somewhere that's not going to absorb watercolor. And this is my final product. Okay. This is the idea of what the crumpled paper art looks like. I've got this idea from being a teacher in New York public schools. The kids really loved it. They thought it was a very artistic way to get their feelings out. And they actually spoke about how, what colors they use and why they use them. And it was really nice to see their art and what they wanted it to look like and what they were doing from the beginning, the process that they took to get it there. So I really love this. And so I'm going to put it down on here. I'm going to move the things I don't need to my side. If you guys know from my Slime Squad videos, that's what I do. Whenever you don't need anything, you move it to the side until you need it again, or if it's in the way, you just move it. So I've done this. Let's just say that my process is I laid it out to dry. It's basically a situation where if I wanted to laminate this, I have this little picture. If you want to cut this in any version that you want, whether it be vertical or it be horizontal, you can do that to make it. You don't have to take up the whole sheet with this, but I'm going to give you an idea of what this would look like if I were to put this in a frame. If I wanted this to be, I'm going to actually fold this because in my mind, I have a vision of what fun I would want it to look like. If you wanted, let's just say this is a version of what this would be cut. And I wanted to put this in the middle of my for this to be framed up. This is what this would look like once it's dry. Imagine Nadia's hands are not there, but the idea is that this is a frame backdrop that you have that's personalized for you or for someone that you love. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really hope that you guys enjoyed doing this with me. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.